Hey everybody, welcome to the Faith and Fandom Podcast on the Love Thy Nerd Podcast Network. I'm Hector Miray, your host for this today. You can check this out if you enjoy this over at the Glue Network, GLU, on Roku. You can also find more on the Love Thy Nerd Faith and Fandom YouTube. I think that's, Love Thy or Faith and Fandom at LTN. There's a lot of other good stuff that you can check out on the Love That Nerd Podcast Network, a variety of podcasts that go from wrestling to comics to board games to everything else to morning news. So make sure you check all that out. Today, I am joined today by Jess Luttrell of Cosplay For Christ.
Hello.
Hi, Jess.
Hello. Thanks for having me, Hector.
Oh, my pleasure. Glad to have you. And it's I've enjoyed getting just to watch your content in its varying forms. Um,
Yes. Very varying.
Listen, if you just do the same thing, who needs that? Um,
Right. We need variety in our life.
and I've appreciated your content for a while. So let's tell people what you do, what Cosplay for Christ is, and like how that all got started.
Yeah. So my name is Jess Luttrell. I am a cosplayer and a podcast host of the Cosplay for Christ podcast. I started this journey back in 2013 officially. My first Comic-Con was 2014. I didn't know what Comic-Con was. And my best friend Laura, I asked her, I just finished playing Mass Effect, and I asked her if I could make a costume with her because I really wanted to look like Commander Shepard. And she was like, absolutely. And so she and I made that costume back there, minus the helmet. And me and my husband and some other good friends of ours went to our first Comic-Con, the Austin Wizard World of 2014.
I enjoyed
And
Wizard Worlds a lot.
I
I miss them.
I know. When did they go away?
They in my end at least, it was about 2016 to 17.
Okay.
Because 2015 I met David Tennant at one, and then I think within 3 years they were gone. And in my area, SuperCon slash GalaxyCon
Mm,
took over all that
yeah.
territory. But
Yeah,
I
we
don't think
have.
that's necessarily related. But
I remember, well, it's funny. I saw David Tennant in 2018, and that was the first time Cosplay for Christ had a booth at a Comic-Con was then. And that was, I would say, what, 6 years ago? I don't know, math, but 6, 7 years ago. Sorry. Sorry, I have
I
teenagers.
have teenagers. I
This
have
is
three, so yeah, I'm with you.
literally, my 6-year-old does it. And my oldest is actually like, Mom, that's so cringe. But my 12-year-old and my six, I
I was
love,
about to say my 12-year-old is really about that life.
like really into it. I feel bad for the teachers. I just say, cringe words just to make them just be like, Mom, like, I know. So,
But sorry, I interrupted you. But
yeah,
go ahead.
sorry. Yeah, no. So we went to, so that Wizard World. I think the last Wizard World I went to was 2019. I just had my my youngest, and so me and my sister and our girls, we all went to as Lord of the Ring characters, and went as my baby was Smeagol, had a little onesie hobbit with a my precious written on it with her, little
Nice.
fake. Yeah, it was great. I loved it. But yeah, so Cosplay for Christ kind of was birthed out of a recommendatory. I was on staff at my church, and they said we highly recommend that all staff have a small group. And at the time I was working on that costume, so I was like, well, I might as well make the costume into I could do both. And so we started this crafting group, and God kind of gave me I had never heard of Cosplay for Christ because there is a Cosplay for Christ out of California who are awesome, and they do kids ministry and other stuff and Comic Cons. I had never seen or heard of them before, but I was in the backstage of my church, and I was just thinking of our small group. I was like, Cosplay for Christ, that's what it needs to be called. And so from there, we started a small group. And from that small group birthed my Instagram, where I started making costumes and started going to Comic Cons. Eventually, we started going to actual, like, having booths as a group, and that was 2018. And then in 2021, we moved from Texas, my family, up to Missouri. And at that point, I didn't really know. I knew that when we had the small group, it was great because we would drive people to our church So through the small group, because our booth was always we never sell anything. It's literally a outreach to just kind of bridge the gap between church and nerd and that culture, because there's a lot of non-Christian nerds that didn't know that you could be a Christian at Comic-Con. There's a lot of Christians who say you can't be a Christian, like nerd things. But there was like this bridge we felt like we needed to be to the people in the area. And so we just represented Christ. We just loved on people. We gave away freebies. We raffle off art. And that was kind of what we did. We just interacted with people, made connections, and drove people to our church. And so from that, since I wasn't connected with the church in Texas anymore, I mean, I am, but not not physically there anymore, and I miss them. But it was like, okay, God, what do you want me to do? And so God, during some quiet time, I just felt God put in my heart to start a podcast. And for everyone that knows me, I'm like, I hate my voice. I do. No one wants to hear what I have to say. Like, I can make myself look a certain way, but I'm like, really, God? I'm like, I'm the worst at speaking. I'm like the one that gets made fun of because I stutter over my words all the time. So it was just very like, oh, yes, you have to. So then, of course, my safety net was like, Laura, can you do it with me? Can you do this podcast with me? And she was very like, God's telling me no, it has to be you. I was like, okay, fine. So again, out of obedience, it was like, okay, God, if you told me to do it, I'm going to do it. So 2022, I think, is when the podcast launched in September of 2022. And so we are now in our 4th season. I say we, I mean like me, because it's me editing, recording, researching.
If
all
I'm
the
ever
things.
talking about Faith and Fandom stuff, I'll always use we. Like there's some office of staff, and it's not just me sitting.
Me and
So
Commander Shepard, I'll tell you what, we're working.
it's me and the assorted inanimate objects looking over my shoulder. That's about
For
where it's
real.
at.
I mean, I get support in the sense of my husband supports me from afar, very far. He'll occasionally get roped into some of my cosplay things because he loves me. But my girls, they love to dress up and do cosplay with me as well. But they're not editing. So it's like, I'm like, all right, I'm now an expert in Photoshop and in audio things, which I hate audio. I'm a light person. Like my background is theatrical lighting design. So like I could do the 3-point lighting. I can get your stage looking real nice, but I can't make you sound good. So now I have to figure out how to make, it not sound like a tin can. And oh, that sounds like a tin can. Okay, how do I fix that? Let me Google. So anyway, it's been a learning process as I go, picking out mics and equipment and all that fun stuff. But I mean, now we're in the 4th season, and this season's been different. It was funny because like when I first started Cosplay for Christ, God gave me the scripture of John 14:6, and Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, the light. No man comes to the Father except through him. And at the time, it was right when we started 2018, the booth. And I felt like it was very much directed at the outreach of reaching people to show them that there's another way out of their anxiety, out of their depression, that Jesus is that way. He's the way to get through the stuff that they're trying to fill with the hole of things that they fill it with. And so this season, it's been almost a shift. Not that I'm not outreach anymore, because I still am outreach in that sense of like, I still want to reach the lost for Christ, but it felt like something shifted where I felt very inclined that I need to be helping fellow Christians and embolden them and strengthen and encourage them in the walk that God's placed them in. And so this season, I'm just starting to host people who I feel like God is doing something. They've been walking the walk. They've been putting boots to the ground, doing God's work and being faithful in what he's given them. And so I'm just going through and trying to highlight people and to just expose more people to this vast body of Christ, of nerds that God has put in our world. And like, not everyone knows who everyone is. So I'm like, the more exposure people have, then the better that God's gospel is preached and more people can be reached in the different facets that people are in, because not everyone is in this one little group. It's, lots of different facets of groups that people have their fandoms in, So that's kind of a very short summary of 12 years of the journey I've been on.
Well, there comes a time too, I really think, when, especially in ministry, where we only have so much, and I don't have like a chapter and verse to say attack to this, but just from my experience, there comes times when you can only pour out so much in an outreach capacity
Yeah.
without taking time to to be mended, to help mend others, to be encouraged. And so I think it's a natural progression in ministry to go from outreach to edification and encouragement and building up. I think I don't think that's a foreign concept, and I think that's probably healthy for you too to be able to
Yeah. Well, and
build.
it's nice to like I'm a natural encourager. I like to tell people, "Oh, hey, cute dress," or like that's, whatever compliment, like it just comes naturally to me to okay, I'm just thinking of the guy from Pride and Prejudice, like I'm very excellent with with what excellent boiled potatoes, which sorry, I'm not like that guy. Like it's rehearsed. Like I really see like stuff in people and I love to call it out in people. And our sometimes I feel like our Christian community gets very like crushed down sometimes and people can get pretty wary in doing good. And yeah. And so it's like I feel like God has given me an extra cup of happy joy, whatever this is, to be like, hey, keep going, you can do it, like don't give up, do it, you're doing great, like keep going. Like I want to be that cheerleader from the sideline cheering people on as they're running their race for God, so
I think it can be too, and and I understand why it gets this way, but I also think that once some believers in ministry start to get bitter, start to get discouraged, they spread that almost more than they spread encouragement.
yeah,
Because I've had people literally message me to say, "Aren't you upset about the way this other ministry's doing things?"
yeah.
And I'm like, I don't need you dropping that on me. Like I
Please do
have
not.
I have enough intrusive thoughts. I don't need you adding more. Like
I
just
know.
stop. Um, but I'm being able to actually encourage each other in is going on, because it is hard. And even if you're not facing direct discouragement, there's usually not enough encouragement
Yeah,
just out there in general.
it's
So
very easy to hear the negative. That negative is easy for us, especially creatives. It's very easy to hear the negative, and it's very hard to hear the positive. It's hard for us to like encourage ourselves, like because I don't know, most people, I with creatives, like the constant running thing in my head is always, who cares, you're not good enough, like this is, you're not doing any good, that kind of like all the negative things that we say in our head about ourselves. So it's hard sometimes to say the positive about us, but it's easier to hear it from someone else, to highlight something that maybe you don't even see, that um that would actually be something that gets them that extra energy. Sometimes they just need an extra boost or a smile to be like, I can do this. Like I can keep going. Let's go. So
there's
if I
so
can be
many
that
things.
voice, that's good.
There's so many things in my life that literally happened because one person said, "Hey, I think you could do this."
Yeah.
Like, um, the first time just ever considered writing a book or doing something in print form was because I watched someone else do it,
Mm.
like to publish a short story on Kindle, and I helped them do that. And they're like, "You could do this." I'm like, "Oh, I could do this." And then I had I'll say he's my friend, maybe an associate. I don't know, depends on the day. But a dude I did high school theater with, um, not a believer, not necessarily a big fan of Christianity as a whole.
Yeah.
We've had some hard conversations over the decades, and he just messaged me one day. He's like, "Hey, you need to start a Christian nerdy Jesus podcast, um, because I think people need to hear what you have." And I'm like,
Mm. Okay.
"What?" And I was just like,
That's awesome.
literally, just like somebody who I didn't think would ever have a spiritual conversation with me was just like,
Yeah.
you can do this. And there's so many people that I think out there who, even if they have a call or a burden placed on them from God, are waiting for some adult other than them to say, go.
Yeah.
And, you know,
And I don't want to be the person that misses out on that thing that God's called me to do because I was scared or because I didn't have all my ducks in a row. You know what? We learn as we go. That's what YouTube's for. Like I should have a graduate degree in YouTubeage because of I don't know how to sew crap. I don't know how to do things. I just literally like watch a video. I'm like, oh, if they did it, I guess I can do it. And then I fail at it too. And that's okay. Like the failing is part of the process of like, for instance, Hector, right now, I'm in a dilemma and you can pray for me and all y'all can pray for me for this. The intro music to my podcast, apparently it was royalty free. Apparently there's some copyright infringement that I got a notification on today. I was like, and I cannot find where I downloaded it from. I have the name of it, but not the artist. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So anyway, that's learn as you go. Get the license agreement to whatever royalty free music you use in your publications. So
that is the thing. So is that just like a socials, or did you get like something in
it's
print?
it's through YouTube right now. And so I back in my younger days, I did copyright infringement for movies, for my friend's movie. And so I would send them things. So I don't know if it's this person. I'm like, you were royalty free. You were not I was allowed to use you when I bought you, but I don't know. I have to do more research, but it's a learning process that I'm like, I feel slightly overwhelmed, but we'll figure it out. Like maybe I'll just pay the money. But then I'm like, is this real or is this like some Chinese company doing a spam on me? I'm like, I don't even know. So I just need, I'm
No, that
like,
is definitely, and you, I will be praying for you because that's
thank you.
that's
It's
the
it's
that's the type of stuff that, like, doing any kind of content stuff, you kind of live in
seriously.
terror of.
Well,
Um,
it's live it. I learn as I go. Like, okay, the only reason I think that that's even popped up is because this is the first season I put on YouTube. So I have not been on YouTube until now. Like this is September I started a YouTube channel. So and I don't know if it's because of the people I interviewed because they're have a higher group of following. Uh, I don't know, but they found me. So
well, yeah,
I'm like
and
okay.
obviously, I know you're going to handle it however appropriately you need to, but like you said, you don't know how legitimate it is, so make sure we check that out
Yeah,
because
I'm gonna go through more channels and do a little more research to see what's legit, what's not. Send it to my friend Laura. She knows all my things.
yeah,
She's my safety net, like I said before. So
but that's also like easy prey for sometimes people too, is to like try and get people stuff like that.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm sorry.
that's why I'm like it's funny because like when people come my podcast, I do have them sign like hey, I know that this is not for money. This is you can use my image, all the release of information.
That
You know,
sounds
and
like it
there's like
really was a responsible
I
thing
can
to
send you
do.
my form, Hector, if you want it. And that's not anything that I distrust who I have on my podcast. It's just like I don't know, it's just funny to me that I'm getting this because I'm like, I'm usually really good about making sure I have my forms and everything signed and releases, because being in film and production stuff in my past, it's like I know what that you need to have these things just in case something down the road. Hector, I'll send it to you so you
I
can
am so the worst at all of that. And I know that LTN's probably got, their own doodads and stuff, but I like just so
hopefully.
the uh like I've got a rapper friend named Heath McNeese. He's a nerdy
That's
Christian.
a great name.
Yeah.
Keith
And
McNeese.
he does nerdy Christian rap. He does a lot of stuff. He does a lot of emo stuff too. But, he like had a song called 12 Point Power Sword. It's a nerdy rap about Comic Cons and cosplay and stuff. And since I started my podcasts, And I think since we started the Pull List podcast, which is our comics podcast, it's been the theme song for that forever.
Yeah.
And I got his permission. I'm like, text, yo, can I do this? Thumbs up emoji. Like
Yeah.
that's my whole thing. Now,
Well, you're covered. You're good.
but he's also, I think that was on Sony. So like, and I've always just been like kind of thought, and then even for my normal podcast, there's a Five Iron Frenzy is one of my favorite bands,
Oh,
and
I love them.
I'm going to see them in February.
Nice.
And Jeff, the girl from Five Iron, has been on the podcast a few times.
Yeah.
Um, and but they had a song called "It Was a Dark and Stormy Night," and they had a contest for remaking "It Was a Dark and Stormy Night," and somebody remade it as like a Nintendo vibe,
Awesome.
like an 8-bit version,
Yeah.
and that's free to download on their website. Because it was their contest winner. I've been using that as my podcast intro for.
Well, and I don't, yeah, and I don't know. I don't like, okay, because apparently there's something between royalty free, uh, copyright free. There's some are royalty free, but not copyright. I don't
I've run into that a lot too with
Yeah.
church because
Yeah. Church.
we pay for Igniter Media,
Yeah.
which is supposed to be intros and all this stuff that we're paying for the license for.
Yeah.
YouTube will flag us
Hmm.
for stuff that we've paid for the rights for. And it's just like, whatever. So now we've gotten to the point where we don't broadcast our whole service. We just start right after the.
Do you ever dispute it?
I don't personally because I don't care enough. There's
I
somebody
mean,
there's somebody else
I
on
would
our
be like,
team.
dispute. Here's our receipt that we paid for. I mean, it should be easy as that for say I
That,
can't find my receipt. That's where my problem is.
that same. And it's just like the one time I got an official notarized letter from DC Comics. I saw it come in the mail and my heart like dropped
Oh,
through my toes because I'm like, oh no, they've come for me. Like
they found me.
they found me. It's because like I by my all understandings, I'm legal in everything I'm doing and I'm putting the proper disclaimers and all those
Yeah.
things. And I'm like, but I was like, DC mailed me. It's
Mhm.
like, and I was like, I did the whole like uh um the I'm coming, Wheezy, like the whole thing. Like I was like clutching my heart and it was like it was my royalty check for being on Swamp Thing.
Oh, oh,
Like
that's so nice.
and
What a nice surprise.
oh, cool.
It was a blessing, not a curse. Thank you,
But I was
Jesus.
like, but the amount of anxiety that hit. So it's just I know
Oh, yeah.
I know creating content puts you in a dangerous place sometimes. So
Yeah, it's hard to know what I mean. There's a point where I'm like, okay, I've been doing all of this. I mean, the podcast for 4 years. So I'm like, okay, I mean, God protect me from what I don't know. So, I mean, I just keep going until something, I mean, and this could be something that leads me to making sure other things are more properly done if
yeah,
if the podcast gets bigger or not. I'm like, whatever. I'm just doing the podcast because God told me to. And so I will do it until he tells me to stop because I'm like, it's okay. Like, but I don't want to be doing anything improperly either. And I want
yeah.
to
You don't
represent
want to
well.
intentionally like
Yeah,
skirt things, but just because you
right.
don't know everything, you can't.
Right.
You and your big LLC corporation of
I
all
know
that you do.
of me and Commander Shepard.
Yeah. So to ask you my almost famous question, what do you love about cosplay?
Ooh, definitely the people. I love the community of cosplayers. Um, my first Comic-Con experience was probably what is like ingrained in me. So as someone who, I mean, I'm an affirmation person. So when I am dressed as Commander Shepard and I'm walking down the halls, I don't know what to expect. And I'm having people come up to me, total strangers, complimenting me. I'm like, oh, that's nice. Oh, thanks. Oh, okay. I'm like people wanting to take photos, like my ego gets stroked. So there's that side of it. But then the thing that I really came to love was seeing everyone else dressed up and the work that they put into their cosplays. I met this guy. He had done 200 hours of foam work on his Commander Chief Halo costume. And he had, so I did not have guns yet or anything in my costume. I literally was wearing boots with heels like an idiot to Comic-Con. I'm like, oh, don't wear heels. My feet would, I didn't know. It's like 8 hours in heels. Not a good choice for anyone. But I come up to him and I'm like, holy cow. But then he's like, oh my gosh, another foam armored cosplayer. And so we just geeked out together about our costumes, and he let me hold his gun and we took some pictures together, and like it was just this really cool total stranger, and connected over the way we made our costumes. And then that just led to just more of that with other people, and just this appreciation for the creative in people, that God's put this creativity in people and how they express that. The things people do. I had this guy, I forget the bad guy character from Stranger Things that looks like a melted worm.
Vecna?
Yes, Vecna. Thank you. He was at the Missouri Comic-Con 3 years ago. He ended up winning best in the craftsmanship competition. And I talked to him. This guy is so sweet. He's like the sweetest guy. I'm like, how did you do this? He literally took a wetsuit and like put silicone drizzle on, and he's like zipped up in it. And like, that's how he did the costume. I'm like, that's so smart and like brilliant. Like he looked amazing, scary, but amazing. And I just love, so that's what I love. I love about, excuse me, edit that out. There you go. I just love how people can show their creativity, and then how people bond over those cosplays or the fandoms that they're, it's a broader thing with the nerd culture, but I just love seeing how people interact with each other who are just, again, like Planet Comic-Con last year, we're still in 2025. This year, I saw a bunch of Delicious in Dungeon cosplayers. And we just finished watching that season 1, and it was, we just like, I'm in a Fallout costume. They're in the Delicious, and we're all just, and like all of them, we were just, don't know these ladies from Adam, but we're now besties because we love the fandom that we're all geeking out over. So anyway, that's what I love about cosplay. It's the people that are, and the costuming, if we want to be technical about the actual cosplay, I love figuring out problems and finding solutions to problems I have with creating some of the costumes, but that's more minor, more internal. The bigger thing is really the community.
Okay. This is just from my perspective. I feel like I've seen a lot of changes in the cosplay community at large over the last few years. Have you seen kind of the atmosphere changing?
Yes, yes, and not for the good, unfortunately. I think going with human nature and with a kind of how people are kind of more self-centered. I've seen a lot more people worried about themselves and how they present themselves or their content or their whatever, and not really connecting as much with each other as it used to be. But that's also individual, and that's also different groups. I would say that people can be, however your lens that you view people will be the lens that you interpret what's going on. So if my lens is negative, I'm going to see all the negative at the con. And if it's a lens of looking for the creative people and looking to encourage people, then that's what I see, and that's what I get to do. So I think too many times people are not looking, and they're just they want to consume more than to engage, and expect others to engage with them, but not the other way. So there's some of that going on. It's not, I don't know. It's also a younger generation. And I have seen like culturally, like anime has now like really flooded the like, you used to have just anime conventions, and now it's like anime is everywhere. And I'm not like, oh, anime is evil. I'm fine with anime to a certain degree, but it's interesting seeing the change in people. And I don't know exactly what that is. I'm not an expert, but there's definitely uh, a shift that has happened with it where I don't know. I couldn't even tell you what it is, Hector, because I'm like, people are like, do you know this anime? Do you know this anime? I'm like, no, I don't. I'm sorry. I only know like three, but I'm like Star Wars and video games. I'm like that person. But it's okay that I don't know all those things. But like that's kind of what I've seen shift with things. And things just become, I don't know. It seems like things have gotten more commercialized. Things that you used to be able to only see at Comic-Con, you now seems like it's common. And so there's almost like an inauthentic vibe that has come through.
Mhm.
So when I see actual like creative, creative sorry, uh, people who are creating actual things that is theirs, like your booth, you have your devotionals, your stickers, your you know your candles that you had for. I don't know if you're still doing candles, but like
I ran out of wax and I haven't gotten more, but
no.
maybe another day.
But like stuff where it's like, Hector, you made this stuff. And now it seems like I bought these on Temu and I'm selling them at my booth, or AI that has come through that I absolutely abhor. If I hate anything, I hate Satan, I hate AI. Those are the things I hate. So seeing that kind of influx into the like vendor side of things, I don't know. That's been kind of an interesting. Also, I'm in Missouri, which is different than Texas. So I don't know. It's been a little rougher in the just because I don't have my group like I did in Missouri or in Texas that I do in Missouri. No, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
My people are still in Texas, and I'm slowly finding people here, but it's just different. And I'm also older, so I'm an older cosplayer. That doesn't seem to really bother people. At least they don't tell me it does. But I do get the questions like, "Wait, how old are you?" Like, I'm 44 years old. Thank you.
Me too.
Really, hey, 81, man. It's a great year.
It was.
But, usually that doesn't matter as much, but it has been like shifting what I cosplay. So that's been a shift. I don't know if that's the answer you're looking for, but
That's
kind of a,
it's I was just curious because I know I've
yeah,
seen stuff and I know that you're more like I'm on the show floor a lot at a booth and I'll cosplay like once every other year.
yeah,
I'll wear the same cosplay at a couple of events, but like I genuinely don't like wearing a cosplay at the booth. Cause like just even like with my Senshi helmet, I've
yeah,
got horns. If I'm trying to like get somebody's t-shirt or a book out of a rack and I'm like knocking my own display over with
yeah. You
horns, it's
have to
just
wear something that's functional for what you're doing, for sure.
and the reality of trying to wear stuff where I don't need my glasses because I can't do contacts.
Oh, yeah,
Um,
that's
I can't touch my eyeball. It freaks me out. I can't
well,
just
don't look at my eye right now because it's like zombie eye. It's like getting better, but like I have this scleritis thing in my eye that inflamed like, I don't know, a month ago. And so all these like look this way and it's like bleh. I'm like, and I can't wear my contacts and I'm very blind without my glasses. So I did use it for good and made a bunch of beat up Commander Shepard videos and pictures. So I did
I
some.
saw, yeah, that looked great.
My husband's like, please tell people this is a makeup test and not me. I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, it's cosplay, babe. It's not you.
Yeah, but it's he's not wrong though.
I know. Well, then I was like, I put makeup test. I did a video saying, hey, I'm doing makeup, to make me look
It's
beat
just
up.
even with I've got a Shy Guy cosplay that I do. And even with that I glued my glasses into the inside of the Shy Guy mask
Yeah.
so I could see because
Hey,
I
that's,
can't do black fabric and no vision. That's just not gonna
yeah, no,
work.
yeah, you need to pick one or the other. You have to
But
see.
I just seen like there's a lot of tribalism and cliquish stuff in terms of like cosplay groups in my area.
Ah,
And like one of the things I also saw was with cosplay judges and
mm,
people that would run the cosplay contest because a lot of times the show doesn't want to actually run the cosplay contest themselves.
yeah, it's the
They
judges that run it.
they'll hire or bring in groups and then it turns into a whole weird vibe depending on who's doing what and you start to get people that are against people and oh
There's been a lot of online. I feel like there's a lot of online cosplay drama that especially around judging and cosplay contests. It's interesting to see because I just kind of sit back and watch. Then I enter into cosplay contests. I've won a couple and I've lost more than I've won, but I think the problem is that people that enter into contests, I mean, you're entering a contest to win. So you put a lot of effort, you put a lot of energy into your cosplay. And then if it's not chosen for whatever reason, the judges, I don't want to ever, I would hate to put myself in the judge's position. I would never want to be a judge for a cosplay contest ever, because you get the backlash from people. Even there's stuff that me going to backstage and seeing people's cosplays, like the Planet Comic Con was the recent one I went to, and like literally everyone in my division, they all could have won. They were all so good. They were all excellent. And it was like the ones that were chosen were like, yes, absolutely. But any of us probably could have been chosen. But they do a thing that was really nice, that you can ask the judges for critiques and how could you improved. And not everybody provides that option. And so it's puts people in a way to be more teachable. And I think a lot of cosplayers are not, especially if they're higher end, where they're at the top of their game. I think being teachable from someone else who they may not consider at their level, maybe, or they consider themselves above the judge, and so they wouldn't take their criticism well. I think it's hard as creative to hear criticism of your work, because we're such, I don't know, it's our work, it's our baby, but you have to have like an open, teachable mind in order to hear stuff. And I don't know of any evidence of judges like picking their friends. I'm sure that happens. I'm sure it's there, but there just seems to be a lot of like drama when it comes to they lost and I'm now mad because the judge didn't treat me fairly. I guarantee you they probably did, and it's just really hard to pick the best out of the best. So I don't know. I say give judges grace and keep and do better. So like do it better, or enter a different contest and win in a different contest, because maybe that one they just had someone better than you. It's hard for people to accept that someone's better than them. And I come in thinking you're all better than me. Like I'm not winning, but it'd be cool if I did,
Yeah.
So I think attitudes are a big thing with contests.
So, as someone who's spent a good amount of time at cons and in the uh, cosplay arena in cons, what suggestions for improvement in how cosplay is handled at cons would you have?
So practically, if you're wearing some kind of large piece with wings or something with a big tail or something that's actually intrusive to people's, well, this is like very practical. Like try to only wear that out into the bigger open areas. Maybe do your shopping at another time in a different cosplay or something that's not so intrusive, or take your tail off or take your wings off and then go shop kind of thing. That's like practical advice I'd give to people. On the other side of it, always have a teachable part. Like always look to improve. Like if you want to become an expert in something, you're not going to just become an expert overnight. You have to put in the time, the energy, the practice. You have to practice. You have to do the work. And you will get better every time I sew something, I get better at sewing. And I still don't consider myself an expert in any sense, but each time I do it, I do feel improvement. And it's good to compare your work from when you first started to, okay, where are you at now, and see the actual improvement. My daughter in she was fifth grade and she was really into drawing dragons. And so I was like, well, here, let's put your art on Redbubble. So we did. We scanned some stuff, put it up there. No one bought anything because it wasn't good art. But at the time, I wanted to encourage her. Well, now she's 15. That girl, she's out drawn me. Like I can draw, she can draw. And like she is surpassed my ability of drawing. And like we look at her pictures now to the Redbubble. I'm like, oh my gosh, look at how much you have improved. And you can see tangibly she's improved after, 4 years. of practicing, and she takes her sketchbook everywhere and practices all the time, and she's literally improved tenfold of what she is. So with cosplayers, it's okay to start from scratch and not have that great of a costume, but then work on it and improve it, and look to improve. Ask people to critique you if you trust them in order to critique you. What else was the question? Sorry. I'm like,
Well,
I
just
feel like I'm bunny trailing.
what would you uh how would you improve the cosplay aspect at cons?
Yeah. Oh, okay. At con. Sorry.
No, but hey, all
I
of
was
it's
going.
great.
I was going down a different direction. So at cons, I would say also be. The Bible says to be a friend, you need to be friendly. Like, if you are like, no one sees me, I'm all alone. Well, sometimes you just have to be like, look for people to connect with. You have to be open to be able to connect with people, give someone a compliment, talk to someone that's in a fandom that you really like and you recognize, and strike up a conversation. I know like everyone's so like doesn't want to be talked to, or everyone's scared to say anything to people. And I don't know if that's again a younger generation thing, but I'm like, go up and talk to people. I'm like, if you have anxiety, take a friend with you. I highly recommend taking a non-con person with you to Comic-Con. That way they can like help you with your costume and like be exposed to nerd culture. Um, but I think just being friendly to people and being open to making friends, I don't know. They People can be very nice, and if you just happen to just smile or start up a conversation, it's amazing what people open up and start talking to you about. Like if you're standing in line to go see a celebrity or something, or an artist, and you're waiting in line forever, like I was waiting in line to go get pictures of Sean Astin, Mr. Hobbit himself, Mr. Samwise Gamgee. Well, there was two guys dressed as potatoes right behind us. And you better believe we talked for about an hour with those two about everything and anything. And it was a great conversation. And we had a really good time just standing there being whatever. Another time, same thing. It was David Tennant, Planet Comic Con, guy behind me. He was very, like, we started talking, here and there, and found out he, lots about him, but then like also that he didn't like to be touched. And so I was trying to make sure, because I had a backpack, not to touch him. So like honoring people, you don't just like, okay, you don't want to be touched, let me touch you. Ended up actually like putting my hand on his shoulder right when we were about to see David Tennant, because they were about to cut us off and not let us see him. We had been in the VIP whatever line forever, and his manager comes up, and it was like this dad and his son, me, and then this guy. And he goes, "Are you guys all together?" I said, "In what sense?" And he's like, "Are you all?" I said, "We're all friends." Yes, we're all friends. We're all friends since the line. And I was like, what is this situation? What can we do? And I'm like in my head praying, my God, please, I can't like not see him, because I have the contest and other things later. Well, the manager ends up going, okay, but just you four, and that's it. And so he let us in. So I turned to the guy who doesn't like to be touched, and I put my hand on his shoulder. I totally forgot. I was like, "Hey, they're letting us through." And he was like, he physically jumps. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry." But then he was like, "It's okay. We get to see David Tennant." So then it was fine. But I was like, but I don't know. I don't know. That story kind of rambled on, but it was
Hey,
like, you have different experiences with people when you open up to just start talking with them and just see where people are at. And every person I've met, all of them have been so interesting to talk to, because a lot of times their lives are totally different than mine. And it's so interesting to see just their story. Everyone has a story. And when we're open to hear the story, a lot of times people are just too busy to hear people's story. They're just going on with life. Everyone's busy. Everyone's on their phone. And to like engage with people face to face is such a lost art, it feels like. So at Comic-Con, it's such a great opportunity that you can actually engage with people while you're just standing there staring at your phone screen, waiting for some celebrity to sign it who doesn't care about you. Like you could actually engage with someone who you might be able to affect positively. I think if more people do that, it would kind of get back to the way the con used to be, where people felt like it was more of a collab of celebrating nerddom and fandoms together and not rivalries, fighting and competing against each other. I think that would be probably, if everyone started doing that, I think you could actually see a big change in the culture.
I know that for me, there are people that I'm friends with now that I only knew as cosplayers 15 years ago.
Hmm.
Like my first Comic Con I ever went to was Heroes Con 2010. Which is Heroes Con is a big comics focused con in North Carolina.
Okay,
They say next to San Diego, it's the longest running and most comics focused con in the country.
cool.
Um, it's it's about 43 years, and
Wow.
San Diego's like 53, but like it's been around a minute. Um, there's a cosplayer named Vic who, for the majority of his time, always cosplayed as different versions of the Joker. So he'd show up in a different version each day if it's a 4-day show or whatever else. And there's a picture of me at my first show getting just beat beat up by the Joker with a crowbar.
Yeah.
And I'm talking pre-digital camera, like this was like on a disposable camera printed out photo that's just out there. And just because I met him before I did books, before I did anything else, and I just met him as a con attendee. And then, 3 years later, I'm out there with a booth. And because of the connections we made just doing that, like he comes to see me every year without fail, and
Oh,
we'll talk about life and everything else. And I've got so many cosplay relationships I built just by talking, like, hey, tell me about your costume or whatever else.
yeah.
Or I make a point to, and I don't do it for everybody, but if I genuinely like a cosplay, I'm going to take it and I'm going to post a photo and people will come find their photos. And
Yeah.
I've got relationships I've built that way. And it can be one of the best connections because, like, if you are an encouraging or affirming person, you're going to make friends with cosplayers
Yeah.
because they would like some encouragement and
Yeah.
affirmation.
Yes. Well, and something that you made me think of too, with you posing with Vic with the crowbar, I it feels like we've gotten away from the play aspect of cosplay. Like it's costume play. Like we're all a bunch of adults dressing up in costumes, running around acting like our characters and playing is what we are doing. And like I feel like so many people have gotten away from just like engaging with people in their characters and like having that fun element of it. Instead, they're more concerned about the TikTok dance that they got to do so they can get their followers and their likes.
It becomes
Like
cosplay modeling and not cosplay.
yes, cosplay modeling instead of just cosplaying. And I think that is also some shift that has happened with the digital world becoming more prevalent of, stuff that we're doing. But like the fact that you have a booth also, Hector, is probably huge because people now can find you.
Yeah.
Um, that is some of our really closest friends we made. I'm like, you're telling me this story. I'm like, that reminds me of a friend. Um, he played Captain Jack Sparrow, David. He's awesome, Captain Jack Sparrow cosplayer. I met him in 2017. Just I have a picture of him engaging with our other friend, like they were playing, took pictures of them engaging with each other's characters. The next year we had the booth and he shows up like, hey, I remember you. I have a picture of you. We start talking. Turns out he's a Christian. Turns out he joins our cosplay group. Through the cosplay group and through cosplay, he ends up finding his fiance. They get married. I'm in the wedding with Laura. And like we just saw them back in April. And I'm like, I met him at the Comic-Con by taking a picture and playing, running away from Captain Jack with chains, and it was just like a cool, like you can you can find really deep relationships. And it's when you have a booth, I feel like you're more visible and people can come and see you more often. The booth has been, I don't know, I'm keep debating whether or not I should go back to having a booth at Comic-Con again. And I'm always like, ugh, I don't know.
I think you need a booth. That's just me personally. Like
Okay.
not just everybody. I think you need a booth.
Well, Maybe that's God's giving me the confirmation I'm supposed to do it. I'm like, I've been debating. I'm like, I have like stuff. I can do a booth. I have banners. I have a podcast banner. I'm like, I don't know. I guess sometimes I get caught in the fear of man element of things where I'm like, I don't know. This area, it's almost scary because I'm like, I'm getting old, man. Like, I'm
I
like, I'm like,
Trust me, I
oh,
feel like every time I do something, I'm like, I get tired. Um,
I'm
and
like, I don't want to wear out, but I haven't gotten the time to hang up the boots from God yet about it. So I'm like, well,
well, there's
I
just
don't
a
want to.
lot of good relational things that like I've
Yeah.
seen in you that are definitely beneficial for you to have a booth.
Okay. Well,
Um,
thank you.
so
I appreciate that.
I wouldn't tell everybody to have a booth. Not everybody needs.
Well, and that's the thing, like my booth is different from others because because I don't sell things, it's like it's nice that I have a podcast now that I can drive people to because it's always like, well, why am I here? Like okay, yes, I want to show people Christ, but in a secular con, that's not always an acceptable
Yeah,
response. And I guess I don't know the Missouri people how they are yet. This area is very divided when it comes to religion.
yeah,
And so it's interesting to see the difference because in Texas there was no issue like at all. Like
yeah.
they're
You
like,
can
yep,
find Jesus
absolutely.
people in Texas. Yeah,
Yeah. And there's Jesus people here. It's just a weird, like, I don't know if it's just where I'm at or just because the culture is shifting the way it is, like everywhere. But I need to build up better relationships with people locally. And so I think
well,
that's kind of on
could
my to-do
also
list.
because your podcast is a good anchor. Like, not you need to get me to give you suggestions too, but even
I'll
having
take it.
even like the little small lapel mics or anything, invite
Yeah.
cosplayers to sit down with you. And it's like,
Oh,
tell me
that's a
what you
great
love. Tell
idea.
me about your cosplay. Tell me what you love about cosplay. And inviting cosplayers to sit down and talk with you.
I'm just gonna write that down. Just hold on real quick. Excuse me. Listen, people, stay teachable. Don't be so pride that you can't take advice from any. I mean, you actually have more time and experience than me, so I'm recognizing your uh expertise in the matter. So lapel mic. Okay. Do you want to send me any good brands?
I just got one from like because I do marketing for the college that I work at,
Yeah.
and I just got I had them buy me a nice one. So, but yeah, that you're on TikTok a lot, so I know that there's
I've been a
these.
year on TikTok. I've been doing the TikToks. Again, I'm like, my kids are like, you're just now getting on TikTok? I'm like,
Uh,
like
you made it
I'm
for the
doing
death
my
rattle,
best. Just like, listen, I'm doing what I can. Okay. My
but
husband's the one that told me to go on YouTube. I'm like, fine, I'll go on
and
YouTube.
and are you putting your TikToks on YouTube Shorts?
I'm trying. I don't have all of them on there, but I am like trying to keep up with that. There's a
Okay.
lot. Hector, there's a lot.
Oh, it's so much. It's so
I'm
much.
like, can't there be a button? Like, someone just needs to make a button that says, okay, you make this one video and it literally downloads to everything.
Yeah, it's
Does that exist? Tell me it
it
exists.
does if you pay for it.
I don't want to pay for it. I'm
Yeah.
paying for enough things.
There's because there's stuff that like just sitting on college marketing things where they're like, you make this one post, we'll post it everywhere, we'll do video clips, we'll do all the things. And I'm just like, I'm not doing this. It's not my money. Um, but I think if you especially anchor in on your the relational aspect of your cosplay stuff,
Yeah.
then that's a good way for connections. And it's also if you are trying to create content, just like to get people's interview because did you see what won the TikTok of the year or TikTok creator of the
No.
year?
Uh-uh.
The career ladder guy.
Oh, where he tries to guess what their career is on the ladder?
Yeah.
That's funny.
He was the TikTok creator of the year and he's like in the running for YouTube.
Wow.
Yeah. And it was the most watched and most popular show on TikTok, and it's just a simple 2-minute interview.
That's great. I love
Uh,
that. See, I would love to be like the person that like interviews the person that does that stuff.
yeah.
Like I'm like, I want to be that like kind of visual support from behind that just like, you're doing it. Good job. I don't necessarily want to be doing the big thing, but I don't know
So we've talked
all
about
that to say.
like your your ministry is effective. We talked about the ways that on the subject of content creation, what are your goals? Like, what feels like success for you? What numbers feel like success for you? Do you have like a measurement line where you're like, here's the this is okay, here's the not okay? Like, what's your at?
So it's funny because, okay, so I started TikTok like a year ago. And so my numbers on TikTok, it's weird. It's weird because my numbers have, before I went to my podcast, for me, a good post was getting 80 to 120 likes, on Instagram. I know, like whatever. I'm not, that's good for me. When the podcast came, it
That's
dropped.
great for me.
Yeah, when it dropped, when I did my podcast, because I wasn't on TikTok yet or anything else, it was just Facebook and just on Instagram, it dropped to like 3 people, 15 people liking my posts and stuff. And I'm like, I knew that would happen and it's okay. Like my my thing is always like, if it reaches one person, then it was worth the energy and the effort to put it out, because it doesn't matter what the numbers say. It's what God's told me to do. So I'm just going to do it regardless of what the numbers say. But I do see a trend, especially this year with me doing the different format. Something shifted. And I don't know if it's related to it or not. The whole September 10th with Charlie Kirk, that thing shifted something. And I put a post out because I saw a lot of people in the community that were Christians that were saying a lot of like, this is what I believe. They were being very bold and like very like raw, and which was good to a certain degree, except that it also created this whole like, I'm against this kind of mentality, which I don't really like that. I like saying what we're for,
Yeah,
not what we're against. But if it's like something that's sinful, like let's have a conversation about it, like in person. Like my content is not, I'm going to tell you what's wrong. That's not where I live.
yeah,
And so I put a post out that was like, I just done my Queen Eleanor cosplays and that was getting some traction. And I put out this video of just like, hey, I'm a Bible believing Christian. I love Jesus and I love nerdy people. And I just want you, it was like a very quick, like, uh, oh, I'm, it's confused me. You said actually is the thing. And so I was like, I'm actually a Christian. My name is Cosplay for Christ. If you don't know that, it's kind of what I do, kind of thing. And that video just like kind of like went off. Not like millions, not thousands. Well, actually, yes, thousands. But thousands for me is like, holy crap. That's like,
yeah,
can I say crap? I'm sorry.
yeah.
I've said it twice now. Sorry. I don't say other words. That's my potty word I use. Um, but it literally went off. And then TikTok, my Queen Eleanor, it has like, I don't know, 22,000 views and over 4,000, 6,000 likes, just something insane that I'm like, this is insane. This is not normal. This is very beyond anything. And so ever since that happened, it's like my numbers had just keep going up and up. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like instead of 300 views, I'm getting 1,000 views on my normal whatever stuff. And even my videos, like even my Instagram videos are getting like 15,000 views on my interview. I'm like, what? That's weird. I mean, like 300 likes. I'm like, okay, y'all okay? Like, what happened? Like, I don't know. It just seems like I'm getting more traction and I'm becoming more visible, I guess, which is, I'm like, I don't even know. Like, that's kind of where, I don't know. Now I'm like, my normal numbers on TikTok are much higher than when I first started a year ago, where I was getting, 50 views, 100 views, maybe at the most 700 views and like 50 likes at the most. Actually, 50 views is being very generous. It'd be like probably more like 25 likes or something like a year ago. So I don't know. I can't, I mean, other than just like maybe I hit the algorithm or it's God or whatever. I'm like, again, I go back to it doesn't really matter because I'm just doing what I'm supposed to do. And actually, there's some freedom in that because I don't value my value doesn't come from the likes or the views. my value comes from God and that I'm just doing what he's told me to do. And so I'm like, well, I'm doing what I'm doing. And God, you bring the people that need to hear it. God, bring the people that need to see it and help me to promote the people that need to be promoted. Help me to just help me. Like I'm very dependent on God because I can't do it by myself because if it was based on just me, it would stink horribly. And it still kind of stinks in a lot of ways. I'm very critical of myself. So I'm like, if you all want to watch me be an idiot in costume, then so be it. And if you want to hear me say something that's, because God's awesome and I love him and I wouldn't be here without him. Literally, I would not be here without God. So like, then I hope you hear it and I hope you come closer to God because of it.
One of the things I push a lot with people, because it's so easy for people to get in a place where if they don't get a certain response, they're like, I have to quit because I didn't get the response.
It can be disappointing to think, okay, here I'm gonna be real with you. Um, I had in my mind my Fallout costume I did. I put blood, sweat, and tears into this costume, and I love it. It's the one I entered the cosplay contest in Kansas City, and I'll probably enter it into another one or something. But I put a lot of work into it, and so I had this vision of this video to be like this epic, amazing. Everyone's gonna love it. Everyone's gonna like it. All this thing, and I put this video up, and it like did not do hardly anything. In fact, I got people who normally are encouraging or like usually like only say positive things message me like it has flashing. Why are you doing this? Like or I actually got more negative responses to that. I'm like, this was my epic video. Oh, and it was kind of like a little like deflation. And then I was like, oh, because I was a little prideful. That's why. Okay. It's like, thank you, God, for keeping me humble. I need to remember I am, you know,
It's
not that
always the
great. I'm
stuff
not
that
that
you
great.
think is going to be the big stuff that, like, it just doesn't, it just, so I had in my inception moment thinking this is going to be my big TikTok. And this was the thing. And this is how much time, money, and effort I spent to it. I took a mandolin, like a mandolin,
Yeah.
um, and I sanded it, polished it, did all these things, stripped it down, painted it, and I did it all in like time lapse and everything else. And I painted the whole front of the mandolin to look like the Mandalorian helmet.
Oh,
And then on the back side, I painted the Razor Crest logo on
yeah.
the back of it, and I did this whole transition, and it was the mandolin. And I took the time. I did all this work on this thing. Nothing.
I've
Nothing.
never, well, I have to find it now so I can like it and give you a little,
But I was like, I put so much work into that. And I'm like,
oh,
oh, y'all
it's
just,
it literally feels like the worst though, because you're like, you guys don't like me. Like that's what it feels like. It feels like a personal rejection of something you're really proud of. You're like, I don't
the
know.
my biggest TikTok thing ever. And it's got 2 million views. And it's stupid. It's like a dumb joke. And it was just like, and I'm like, it's not even one I would share because it's a dumb joke. And then there was one where I drove past a gas station and the lights were like flickering really weird, and I made like rave noises.
You're like,
Yeah, it's 500,000 views. And then the one that I've got pinned to my right, it's got an encouragement when it's like I'm doing the words to yeah from Usher, and it's like not every day is gonna be apple bottom jeans. And I'm like, it's got 250,000 views, and I'm like, are
amazing.
y'all serious? Like, but
That
whatever.
should prove to everybody, especially us, that like literally it doesn't matter. Just keep putting stuff out there.
Keep putting stuff
Just
out there,
just
and
keep doing what you're doing. Don't give up. God called you to do it. Keep doing it.
I was gonna say too, and I just grabbed this and but one of my favorite things I've seen when you mentioned the aspect of play, one of my favorite things about cosplay that I've seen as a good trend in the last few years is the interactive play aspect. Um, One of my favorite things, and there's a Chopper cosplay from One Piece, little reindeer in a hat.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, And I took a photo and she's like, "Who's your favorite One Piece character?" And I narrowed it down to two. And she pulled out a friendship bracelet specifically for that character.
Oh.
So I said Chopper or Usopp at that point in time. So she pulled out a Chopper bracelet that says "not food" because Chopper was, and I was like, and I'm holding on to this still
Oh.
because that interaction was great. And I've had all of like the cosplays that turn into moments are
Yeah,
good. I'm a big 21 Pilots fan. And if you're not familiar, they are ridiculous theatrical
I love them. I
okay.
love them.
Well, they did a 10-year storyline in their music videos that has lore and costumes and characters and all this stuff. And so there was a cosplayer dressed as one of the 21 Pilots iterations of Clancy from one of their music videos. And I have some 21 Pilots stickers.
Yeah.
And if I ever see a 21 Pilots cosplayer, I just automatically give them a sticker.
Oh, I love that.
Um, and so I was at GalaxyCon Richmond this past year, and there's a 21 Pilots cosplayer, and I said, "Oh, can I take your photo? And I want to give you this sticker." They handed me a hand drawn, coffee stained and weathered scroll in a 21 Pilots bracelet that is like the stole that says Clancy all around it. And but it's a bracelet that did that. And then you opened it and it's a map of Trench, which is the where their little fictional story takes place.
Yeah.
But they were literally just passing these out to the people that interact with them. And so I kept that with me forever. And I ended up in a show in June, and there was another person dressed in the same cosplay, gave them a sticker, and they asked if I would draw a sketch of the other character in the storyline. And I
Yeah.
took the same bracelet because I still had it on, and
Yeah.
I wrapped their sketch in that bracelet and passed it on. I was like, now this is like two
Oh.
cosplays deep.
Oh.
And then that same person that I gave that thing to, we got out. My kids and I went to go see 21 Pilots in October, and I stepped out of the car. I'm talking like 3 seconds out of the car, and I hear, "You drew a sketch for me at Heroes Con," and like, and my kids are like, "What just happened?" Um, but it's just like literally like the amount of just
Humanity.
yeah.
Yay. I love it.
But I think that cosplay can be one of the good like big unifiers
Yeah.
of
I, okay, I'm gonna stand up real quick to grab the thing above me. So hold on. Hold on. Hopefully I'm not like awkwardly. Mm. And my shirt does say I'm actually quite tall for a hobbit.
I've seen that on TikTok and I've thought about buying it. I keep hoping they're going to make me a free sample person.
It's called, I bought it from Temu because I'm a sucker for $5 shirts. Okay, so I made this caps box for my Fallout cosplay. And so people, I would come up if someone said, "Oh, I like your cosplay," I'd give them one of my what I have caps that I made, all these individual. So caps is the, if you're not familiar with
Yeah.
Fallout, it's the currency for Nuka-Cola. But also I got stuff from other cosplayers that gave me little fun trinkets from their things. Someone had actual like a gold piece, but we would trade trinkets for each, or I had one guy at the very end. I was so tired. So my parents actually went to that Comic-Con with me. My parents are great. They're dressed up as Dr. Krunglehorn and Professor, it's from Meet the Robinsons. I forget the other professor's name, but so they're like trying to take my picture with, in Kansas City, there's the Kauffman Stadium right behind me. So it's this like big epic whatever thing. And I'm trying to take these pictures, and this teenage, he might have been a young adult, comes out with his mom. And he's like, "Oh my gosh, I saw you in the cosplay contest." And we just stopped and we started talking. I'm like, "Oh, I got something for you." And so I grabbed my caps I'm like, "You guys can pick one." And you would have thought I was giving him like gold, like actual money. And he was so excited. His mom was so like, "Oh my gosh, that's so great." And he's like, "Oh, she has the one I wanted," whatever I forget, was Sunkissed or some kind of like rocket something that he wanted. And so he was just like beaming from ear. I'm like, that was so worth pausing everything to just engage with him and his mom. And I'm like, we're literally like about to pass out. We're so tired, but I'm like, it was worth like, hey, I don't know. I love those kind of interactions. And I think you're right. Like the more that we could do that, that's such a positive thing that's been trending in the cosplay community. I love what if I'm cosplaying something and I have something of that character that I've already created. So sometimes I'll have stickers or buttons of the characters that I make. And if someone takes a picture with me, I'll
Yeah.
give them like that's how I've been
I
trying
love
to
that.
engage with people. So like if you have I was in Maz Kanata from Star Wars, and so I have a picture of me as Maz and says I like that Wookiee, or have you seen my boyfriend? And so like I'll give them that, and they just
Uh,
it's the
are,
best
are
thing.
you a Legend of Zelda person at all?
I know of it. I've not played the games. My girls love it, but yeah, like I know
So
that Link is the boy and Zelda is the girl.
yes.
So
In the games and specifically in more of the newer ones, or there's always there, but if there's a great fairy that heals you,
uh-huh.
and in the latter games like Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild, they pop out of the fountains and they are giant and a little overly statuesque, not in a sketchy way, but
Okay.
just very like, oh, and like, overly like flirtatious.
Yeah.
And like when they heal you, they will like grab you and put like giant puckered lips on you, or like squeeze you and like drag you down into the fountain. It's like it's this whole flirty, goofy little thing. Um, there was a great fairy cosplayer that came up to my booth, and her whoever was with her was recording her. And I said, "Oh, I love your great fairy cosplay." And she's like, "Would you like me to increase your armor?" And I'm like, and
Uh,
I'm like,
I don't
what is,
know.
and
What
I
is
was like,
it?
what does that entail? and, and I'm like trying to be super cautious because I'm like,
Like,
what's happening? And so she blew me a kiss and then
oh,
slapped a star on me because
oh,
when your armor increases, it increases in stars.
yeah,
And so she increased my armor.
that's
I
awesome.
kept that on my dashboard forever. But then the one that got me was it was also at GalaxyCon Richmond. There was a Final Fantasy cosplayer, and there are Moogles. I think I'm saying it right. They're little white, chunky angel bear looking things with wings, and they got a little red dot. But there's some iteration of that from Final Fantasy where they're also mail delivery people.
Okay.
And so there's a Moogle mail delivery person at this show. I was like, "Oh, I love your Moogle mail." And like they pulled out a little card that had an actual wax pressed seal on it. And I'm like, "This is so neat." And I'm thinking, and we talked and we had a good interaction, and everything. And like I didn't open it then because like it's the booth and it's gonna get lost and everything. And so it
Right.
was like weeks later, I'm at my desk and I open it up and there's some Final Fantasy stickers and a little thing. There was straight up a scripture and evangelism card in there. And I'm like, you crafty rascals. Because and it wasn't
Oh,
like
be still my heart.
and it wasn't even like a like
Oh,
printed like chick track thing or anything like
yeah,
that. It
yeah,
was
yeah.
they like literally calligraphied a Bible verse. And it
Oh,
was something sweet, and I totally have it like stored right over here. But it's just like there's so many things you could do with it, and it doesn't. And if even if you make it evangelistic, it doesn't have to be like cringy or scary.
right. Oh, I love that. I love that.
And
I think
I
that's
was like, that was super smooth. And
yeah.
I was like,
That was so
I,
great.
I did a one of the little radio things for LTN, and like I don't ever tell them what to call it. I would always just trust them, do your thing.
Hmm.
And he entitled it, "I done got evangelized." And but it was just like, yeah, it's just cosplay really does have the benefit for that. So um I guess the last question I'll ask you is this: when let's say like you are hanging up the cosplays, you're putting up your boots or whatever else, what do you want to be the final story of what Cosplay for Christ has been? To be able to say Cosplay for Christ accomplished this.
Yeah. I would say like if I could get the well done, good and faithful servant from God, like that kind of thing, and just to see every time I've left a season, I've always felt like I've left it better than I entered it in, and like that my contribute oh wait my I can't talk, the words um what I contributed to that season helped people build upon what I built. And I would love to see that whatever I do, that people, other Christian cosplayers and content creators would take what I did and just build it even further and take it further for the kingdom of God. Because I mean, I'm just Jess. I'm just one person. And if I can reach one person and their life is changed for Christ, then it's all worth it. And if I could, like, I don't know, it's just very encouraging to hear, sometimes I'll get messages from people and just say, "Hey, I've been watching you for a while. And, thank you for what you're doing." And it doesn't feel like I'm doing a lot sometimes. I mean, it does feel like a lot in the sense of like my cameras, my building the costumes. But like for me, I'm like, in reality, I'm just a person dressing up in costume and being nice to people and encouraging others that know Jesus about Jesus. So I just hope that God takes it and multiplies it to beyond what I ever could with others. And so that's it. I think that's worth every bit of it. All the hours and all the time taken from my family or with my family, it's worth it. So maybe that's it.
Where would you want to point people to go check out your content?
Yeah, they can find me. I have a website, cosplayforchrist.com, the number four, cosplay number four, Christ.com. You can find me on Instagram. It's cosplay, the number four, for Christ. I was like, what's my name? Instagram, TikTok, same thing. YouTube, it's cosplay underscore number four underscore Christ is my YouTube channel. And my logo is all the same. It's cosplay, the number, actual FOR. Sorry, guys. Christ. And it's like stars and like space background, and purple, black, white is kind of my color theme. So that's me. Yeah, those are the places you can find me. I guess I'm on Facebook too. I try. Facebook, it feels like it's a dying engine that's like,
It's so weird to like know where stuff goes because like I'll end up like there's certain creators that I enjoy that I will post their content on my Facebook
yeah,
and tag them because they won't post it on their own Facebook.
yeah,
And I'm just like, come on, guys. The old
I
people are
try.
still here.
I
Let's
know.
keep
I'm
them.
like, I try. I can't forget the Facebook. And then I have my podcast, which is on any streaming podcast platform, Apple, Spotify, Google Play, whatever. I host through Buzzsprout is my platform. I host the audio stuff on. So
Okay.
that's where I'm at. Those are all the places you can find me.
Well, Jess, thank you for taking the time to hang out and talk and
Yeah.
encourage me. And I know that the others are going to be encouraged by listening to it. And make sure you check out all of her socials and the links. And oh, one last question. Which cosplayer are you most proud of?
Which cosplayer?
Play, like
Oh,
your personal
cosplay.
co.
Okay. Oh, probably Maz Kanata. I had to figure out how to do latex and clay and make it work for my face and then like stick it to my face with adhesive and like everything was from scratch. Like figuring the goggle mechanism to actually make it like, oh, wait, it's right
I
here.
can see her. Yeah, right
Oh,
back there.
she's right there. Look it. There she is. This guy. So like these actually like pop up. This is a magnet with a screw. So like I went through many phases of trying to figure out how to do that. And it's like it's a headset that I got from the dollar store. And then it's like clear warbler, some foam. This is like a headband, I think. And then these are magnets. So she's probably she was a lot of work. And she was pretty cool. I'm pretty proud of that one. And I won Best in Show with her. So that was cool. At the
That is great.
down in Texas, Bell County Comic Con.
My best friend just moved to Texas this year, so I'm more than likely going to end up at some cons down there
Oh, they're so fun. And
as
I
an
know
ex.
so many people you would love, and you've already met Laura and she's already down there.
Yeah.
So
He's like he hadn't even moved yet. He's like, look, here's some shows that I found in the area. If you need an excuse to come to Texas, I'm like, yeah, I hear you, buddy. Um,
Live music capital of the world is Austin.
mm.
So where's he moving?
I don't know exactly where it's, but it's his work is at the Dallas Cowboys practice field.
Okay, so he's probably in Dallas.
Like
It's good.
he doesn't live in Dallas, but he like
Yeah, he's probably a suburb off of it. Yeah.
yeah,
Dallas is huge and there's lots of surrounding
it's like
metro
40
area.
minutes to there.
Yeah.
So
He's probably still kind of in Dallas,
yeah.
depending on the traffic.
Well, thank you for taking the time to share and be an encouragement. Make sure you check out all of Jess's content. And again, if you want to find out other podcasts on the Love Thy Nerd Podcast Network, you can check those out and find on the Glue Network on Roku, GLU, and also check it out, Love Thy Nerds YouTubes as well. But Jess, thanks for coming, and
Yeah.
thank you all for listening.
Thank you.